I don't know what to start at.
Start with your name and where you were from.
My name is Bertha Haberfeld. I born 1920, May 29.
And what was the town?
And the town was Szatmár-Cseke, small town.
In Hungary?
In Hungary.
And how large a family?
The family was 10 children, but 6 was alive when Hitler came in.
Yeah.
3 married sisters was living in different town.
They had children?
The oldest had 3 children, the second had 2 children, and the third one had 1 child. And no one came back.
Yeah.
Only the 2 single sisters who've been together with me survived.
Yeah. What was it like in that town for your family before the war?
Before the war we was happy, but we was not rich, but we were together and very nice, happy family life, lived together and
Orthodox. What did your father do?
My father had a little grocery store, and we was making dressmaking.
And that's what you do now also?
That's what I'm still doing.
Did the dressmaking help you at all during the war?
Yes, and during the war when we went to Plaszow, I was working in a manufacturing, we was making coats.
That was a ghetto, Plaszow.
With my older sister, yeah. Not in a ghetto, in the concentration camp.
Yeah. How long were you in the concentration camp there?
1 year. We left in April 31st. They took us to the ghetto in Máté Szalka, 1944.
Yeah.
Took us to Máté Szalka, and we was in the ghetto 6 weeks, and then they took us to Auschwitz, and we were there a whole till the end of the war, 1945, May 8.
Yeah.
And the Russian came in, and then they liberate us.
Yeah. Let me take us back a little to the war had started, and you were in your 20s.
I was young, and I was very capable, and just shortly married, and
How did you meet?
With my husband?
Yeah.
At a wedding, and 1942. And he liked me, and we were both young, and we want to get married. And after 6 weeks they took him in Arbeitslager, and I don't see him till after the war. And I remained with my parents. I don't had a chance to go in my own house. I had very nice furniture and everything that I will start a new life, and everything broke up because this. And then 1944 Hitler came in, and they took us in a ghetto, and from the ghetto we went to Auschwitz.
So the whole family went to Auschwitz?
I went with my second sister with 2 children, and my 2 single sisters.
Now, you mentioned
my mother and father.
You mentioned that one of the sisters had a handicap.
Yeah, and one sister, she was deaf and mute, and single, and so we stayed together with these 2 single sisters. The only way we survived, to help each other, hold each other.
Yeah. Those 2 sisters are where now?
They are in Israel. Even after the war, we lived in Czechoslovakia 4 years, and they cannot come here. They went to Israel, and we came here.
Yeah. Want to talk a little about what it was like in the camp, in the ghetto first, and then in the camp?
In the ghetto already was very sad, because we see many German people beat up so many older Jewish man.
Yeah.
That one man died, and which I know, and many was beaten, bloody, and they took us to Auschwitz, and they put something in the food, maybe, because after the war, after we arrived there, we never.
Yeah, it's all right to say that. We want that.
And
yeah,
they cut off our hair, and we looked like monkeys, and we were so scared and so don't know what happening, that only one night we slept on the floor in Auschwitz, and they put us these striped dresses, all the same, and they took us to Plaszow, Krakow.
Yeah. What had you heard about Auschwitz beforehand?
Never. I don't never hear. We never know where they take us and what will happen. And
so they took you on a work detail to Plaszow.
Then they took us to Plaszow. There was many Polish people survived, and was there long time. And then we came. They was laughing us that we had our hair cut, and we looked like not normal when we arrived. That what they didn't realize that still going on, and we was working there 3 months, and that was the Russian coming closer to Plaszow. So they emptied the lagers, and they took us back to Auschwitz, and we stayed in Auschwitz. Then they gave us this number in Auschwitz, what I have in my hand, and we've been there 6 weeks, and after 6 weeks they took us to Silesia in Germany, near Libau, and we was working in a fields there, taking potato out and carrots. It was already late summer when you're taking out potato from the ground and vegetable. My sister was working in a washroom, wash clothes for the girls, and we've been there 3 months, and then they took us to another lager. I can't think that name, and that was near Libau.
Again, was it a work detail?
Also they took us to there, I don't remember the name of the camp, but they was taking us by walk to Libau in a big manufacturing where we was packing dishes. They was delivering for factories, and we walked miles to the factory, and we walked back miles, and we stayed there 3 months, and from there they took us by walk to another lager where we deliberated. That was Parsnitz. The name is, it was Czechoslovakia. Now I think Russians there.
It must have been unusual that they didn't break the 3 of you up.
We was so worried so many times they was breaking us, but we all was still fairly young, so we stayed together, and that this way
we hear stories that helped people to be able to survive if they had a support system. How did it help you and your sisters? What were?
Anytime we was very much done, but if she was done, I helped her, and if I was done, she helped me. And most difficult was my deaf and mute sister, because she didn't understand, and we was afraid that they shouldn't find out that she is deaf and mute, because maybe she won't survive.
Yeah, it's something amazing that she did make it. You really covered for her, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about the Polish women the Polish Jewish women? Were there some incidents there that were painful for you?
When we came to Auschwitz, there were older people, and we stayed in 6-8 women on one bed, like bunk, yeah.
Yeah. But they must have had an attitude of they were the old hands at this.
Some was nicer, some was not so nice from so much what they went through that no wonder that
they changed too.
They changed.
Yeah. You know, we passed over quickly the business of how you got into Auschwitz in the first place and how the last time you saw your mother and father and the sisters.
We came together with one of my married sisters with 2 children and mine 2 sisters, Ingo and me, and my mother and my father, and we arrived in Auschwitz. My sister put in her pocket candies, some white sugar that maybe her children will be hungry and they won't serve them food right away, and they took us off from the train, and they don't told us that they said that we shouldn't take off anything, everything stayed there, and so she took quick in her pocket this few candy that for the children. She don't realize where she go with her children, and we don't realize. And my mother went with her, and my father in the left, and they pushed her away from me, and I was so broken that they took my mother away.
Yeah. Was there any chance to say goodbye?
I look back, I want to say goodbye, but I don't see her anymore.
And not to the sisters that died also?
Not the sister with the 2 children. Her life was the 2 children, or the 2 little girls, 10 years old. She cut off my hair in the ghetto because I had a short little hair. I was married already. She cut off my hair altogether. She wanted to make a mitzvah. If you know what is that?
Tell us.
To good for God. That the religious Jewish women, when married, they cut off the hair. I was not that religious to cut off all my hair, but I let her in the ghetto that she thought that God will help her survive if she do.
A mitzvah.
So we came in Auschwitz, and they cut off our hair anyway.
Were you angry that she had done that mitzvah?
No.
It was a blessing.
She asked me, I let her.
Yeah.
Then I look back and I don't see them anymore. But somehow we was hoping we will meet.
Mm-hmm. At what point did you stop hoping that they were alive?
We don't know. We didn't know nothing. They don't told us nothing that anything like exists there. Those girls who was staying there, Polish girls, they know already what going on. And we was maybe so something they put in the food that we didn't know how to think. When they bring us back from Plaszow to Auschwitz again, they took us all our clothes off, and they put us like the lambs in a big empty barracks, and no wood, no carpet, nothing, just ground, and was so cold and freezing, already fall, and no clothes on, and they said we're gonna go take a shower, and and we saw the people how burning, light and smell. Still we didn't know. I thought that they burning dead people, but we didn't know they killing them like this. And a whole night we had to stay like that, naked, without clothes, and only morning they started to shower us and put on some clothes that if we survive, it's a miracle. And then they we stayed in Auschwitz again 6 weeks. After 6 weeks, they took us for smaller lager.
Again, for a work detail.
Working, and that saved us alive, that we stayed in smaller lager, and we stayed together with my two sisters.
And so that you didn't speak Yiddish, did you?
I don't speak Yiddish.
So that may also have interfered with understanding what was going on.
It was very hard, very difficult, because we want to know, and always somebody had to translate. Because who speak Yiddish, they understand German.
Yeah. We were talking before about hope, hoping for survival.
Hope, always we had hope that we never think that we're not going to survive. Yeah. We were young and full of hope, and we was dreaming always from food, because we was always hungry. They don't give us any food, enough food, very little, just skeleton. We looked like skeleton. Yeah. My younger sister was very heavy, big girl, and she was the most bone and skin when we survived. The war was over.
You thought of her as the strong one, didn't you?
And strong one, and she lost so much weight.
Yeah.
She was like a mother, but we needed that one between us.
To kind of comfort or direct. Yeah.
If we find one apple, we was working on fields to take potato up, and some French prisoner that was war prisoner throw us one apple, so we was holding that apple, that the three of us shoot it up. That was very seldom happen.
Yeah. That's interesting that happened from a war prisoner.
It was not Jewish people, but probably was a prisoner for something else.
Who realized what your need was. That in spite of all the anti-Semitism that you knew about before. Huh?
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about what that anti-Semitism was in Hungary?
In Hungary, in my town, started all my life. I remember that was anti-Semitism. We don't want to learn Jewish because we was embarrassed that they don't like it when my parents spoke Yiddish, and so we didn't learn. That when Hitler came in, was very easy influence them, because they don't like us anyway.
Would there have been any way to pass as an Aryan?
No way. Nobody would hide us.
Yeah.
I thought that they was my friend, but I wouldn't even dare to ask, because nobody would take.
Did you feel betrayed by friends, Gentile friends?
Yes, some. That we had to wear a yellow star before we went to the ghetto, and one boy who was my neighbor was working in a city hall, a small city hall, and it was cold, and I had a sweater on, and the stars didn't show, so he came to me that you have to put the star out. Nobody would check if he don't ask, but they was very faithful to Hitler.
If he hadn't said that, would you have been able to get away with something, or would that have aided you?
They know me anyway, that who I am in a small town, so.
Yeah. So, in what other ways did the war affect your life? I was thinking about the marriage, and if it wasn't the war, would you have gotten married?
If it wasn't the war, maybe I wouldn't get married, you ask?
Yeah. Do you think maybe you wouldn't have married that man?
Maybe I wouldn't marry that man, and I would marry it happily, and it would be no divorce, and would have a happy family life. And this way, all my life is not the same what I dreamed, and I was so happy and lively and laughing and smiling, and after always I am depressed and very easily crying. My marriage broke up and very nervous and dream many times night and screaming, "Mama, Mama."
Yeah. You're having the nightmares now too?
Many times my husband wake me up.
Yeah.
Each time I have a nightmare, I'm screaming, "Mama."
What kinds of dreams? What happens in the dreams, Bertha?
All kinds of dreams. Sometimes they take us to the ghetto, and we have to leave my home, which I love. And like when they took us out when I was young from our home, and never had any more a good bed where we slept. Now I dream sometimes they took us to a ghetto and have to leave my home. And I started to scream, and my husband wake me up.
This is your second husband?
Yes.
He was not in the camps?
He was not. He was in different way suffering. He was in the Polish army. And he escaped through France and Sweden. He survived like war prisoner.
So now he helps you with these memories?
Yes.
What about religion? How did that change for you?
The religion changed too, because we were more religious before the war, and after I just don't believe it's so important, those things. In my heart I am Jewish, the tradition still stay Friday. I am
that comforts you.
Cooking and light a candle, but Saturday I am working. I'm not kosher, but that's changed.
Yeah. You mentioned that for Shabbos your sister's family comes.
Yes, Friday evening always my sister, niece, daughter and children coming to my house, because that's make me feel like I have a little family, because I don't have any family left here.
Yeah. Is her mother in Israel?
Her mother live in Israel, and one daughter moved here and have 3 little girls, and the 3 little girls always come to my house for dinner.
So the 2 sisters, are they together in Israel? Or?
Yeah. One is in Bnei Brak and one is in Ramat Gan.
So your lives separated.
And my younger sister have 2 daughters, and my older sister cannot have also children after the war. She tried to have children and she lost 3 times because the concentration camp.
Yeah. And you had the one son?
Only one son, yes.
So there were a lot of changes from the war.
Lots of changes, yes.
Yeah. Any other issues that you wanted to talk about? Of the people that you met along the way that you remember in particular, who were helpful or who were harmful? No. Yeah. But you waited after the war for quite a while to see who would come back.
We was dreaming that somebody will survive from my 3 married sister, and one had already a 16-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old son, and both been killed, separated, and both been killed by. The boy was working separated from his father, and the girl was 16, and she got sick, and they sent her to the crematorium. The boy probably been killed by working because he was very young, but nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister went with the third child in the gas chamber.
Yeah. There's some irony to the fact that the 3 brother-in-laws survived.
The 3 brother-in-laws survived somehow. They was in Arbeitslager.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you say in English. Arbeit?
A work camp.
Work camp.
Yeah. But definitely women with children were lost. Huh?
Most of the women lost with the children. Only if some survived, if the grandmother took the child and she went away with the child, and so the mother survived. But that was a tragedy, because how a mother feel all her life to leave her child. Some when we had to get out from the train, some Polish boys who was working, they helped us take off everything. They told us that the children should go with their grandparents, so some can survive. But sometimes they don't have a chance to tell.
So you're saying that that they tried to save as many people as they could by giving that information.
Yes, if they had a chance. If some listen, some mother wouldn't let the child. My sister wouldn't let the 2 children go with my mother because she don't know, and she don't know where she going and what will happen to the children. Yeah. Or some mother some grandmother was just holding the child accidentally, and they pushed the mother of the child in the right, and before she realized already the grandmother was going to the left with the child. Yeah. But most of the mothers with small children don't survive. Yeah.
So there were really no opportunities for goodbyes or farewells?
No opportunity, no. When I turned back and I wanted to say goodbye, mother, I don't see them no place anymore. So many people, thousands of people.
Yeah. So the same with your father too?
And my father, yeah. The man was separated and the woman was.
I was thinking also, when you were going in the work lagers, the different lagers that you were in, who would give instructions? Who would tell you what to do? Or
they ask who is what the trade, what education. So they put. I said I am a dressmaker, so I am and my older sister. They put us to a tailor shop, and we was making coats. But my younger sister was not so lucky, because that was already locked. That all day we was working. They was watching, and we had to work. Mm-hmm. And my younger sister was working with buildings, and run down for the first 3 months was very bad.
Now the oldest sister was the handicapped sister?
Yes, but she was a very good dressmaker.
So you in a way must have protected her.
We was together, yes. We don't have to talk there. They don't ask you to talk, just to work.
Mm-hmm. So the younger sister, you said, had to wash clothes? And
they not here. The first place she was working with a building. Mm-hmm. Then when they took us to Libau, we was working on the fields to take potato and carrots and all vegetable out. Then she was working.
Any?
There we could eat it, but how? There was no knife, no. We take home sometime, but they find out, the SS find out, they took away from us. We cannot bring in the room.
And that was summertime, the end of summer?
The end of summer, yes.
What would you do in the winter?
Winter was... After that place, they took us to another lager. And nothing we doing there. They don't.
Did you have clothing? What about your feet?
We had very little clothing and no shoes. The water was going in from wood. Some shoes was on, and once we had a heavy men's socks, and I find out that the fleece was in, so I had to throw away. Most of the places was clean. Only this happened in Plaszow, Krakow, Plaszow lager. The rest everywhere was, we had to be very clean, smaller lager. That we had a chance to take a shower.
But your foot froze?
Froze, yes. When we was walking 3 weeks from one lager to another, because there was no transportation anymore, and we was sleeping in a barn where they keep horses and cows, and straw we was sleeping and hold each other to make us warm, and was no cover on my foot, was frozen still. I don't feel mine heel on my foot.
Yeah. So then, how did you hear about the Russian front coming, and what?
That we saw a sign that and we was together with Polish girls, and they heard the news when they went out for work from Gentile prisoners that the war is getting over, and we was hoping that will be soon over, and this way we survived.
And so the Russians came in?
The Russians came in there, and then a few weeks took how long the train started to go, and we was going home into our town, because there were 3 girls without mother, without father, and we were young and we didn't know where to go, and we went home, but we don't find nobody. And on the way go home, I heard that my ex-husband is alive, so I went home, and after that I went to Czechoslovakia and find him.
Mm-hmm. Then where to?
Then we lived in Czechoslovakia till 49.
Was that safe in Czechoslovakia?
Yeah, it was still anti-Semitism there in this Sudete German. We went to live in Teplice Šanov after Prague, and it still was some Czechoslovakian woman who was very big anti-Semite that didn't like that we survived, and I didn't feel comfortable. In 49 we came to the United States.
How did that happen?
That my ex-husband had a brother here and 2 sisters, and they sent us affidavit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way we came here. God bless America.
Yeah.
If anybody would, if some people don't appreciate, that's very sad.
Yeah. But that broke up the family, huh? What was left, the 3 sisters.
Yes, that was a very sad that we survived together, and I want so badly that they should come here, but they cannot come here.
Yeah.
And they went to Israel.
Mm. Were they with you in Teplitz also? Or?
They was living there till we came here, till end of 48.
Yeah. And then you came to New York?
Then I came to New York, and from New York, I lived in New York till 1953, and then we moved here.
Mm-hmm. So you've been many places.
Many places, yes.
Been a long trek. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything that you would want to talk about now in terms of the archives?
I went back to Auschwitz in 1977. That, like, I want to see my parents again. That I want to feel that where I left them, it was a very sad experience.
Yeah.
But we see only the sad emptiness.
Yeah. It didn't fill your need. I think sometimes the fact that there's no cemetery to go to, that Yom Kippur, must be very hard.
Very hard.
I think.
Yes, I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
I was crying all the time.
Did you also go back to Hungary?
Yes, I went back to Hungary, but I was there only one night. I felt very strange and very uncomfortable. I didn't felt home anymore, and we born there, we was raised up there, and nobody left, and no place where one neighbor, she knows I wrote them a letter that I'm coming, so we slept there one night.
How did they greet you? What was the...
It was very cold and not much to talk about it. They was living in a Jewish home, which was my friend, daughter's parents. And I felt very sad that nobody alive and nobody is there, and they was living there.
That they benefited from
Yes.
from the deaths in some way. Would you have gone to Israel or was America your dream?
I was America, my dream to come.
Yeah.
I was very sad that we had to separate it from my sister, because we helped each other, and I helped them to come to Czechoslovakia because we want to hold together. We born in Hungary, they cannot come to Czechoslovakia, but they came and they got married there, and we stayed together, but the fate separated us again.
You mentioned that one of the sisters will be visiting soon. What will that be like when she comes?
Will be so much happiness, cry.
So happiness is crying.
Yeah, crying and happiness. To see them, we getting older, and who knows how long we can see each other yet.
You've been to Israel?
Yeah, I've been.
What does that feel like for you?
I was supposed to go in August to Israel, and would cost me so much money, and it was so hot in August in Israel, and almost I got the ticket already, and I changed my mind. I am afraid to travel already alone, and I told my husband I would rather buy the 2 tickets to my sister and my brother-in-law, and he said okay, so
you're
this way I stay home and they coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You didn't want to go to the American gathering?
I lost my independence and all the courage what I had before. I'm scared to drive, and I scared to travel alone. But this I don't have when I was young. I was so strong, so independent, and so businesswoman. I was dreaming I will have good business, good life, and all broke up.
Yeah. How long is that going on, the loss of the independence and the adventuresomeness?
This later.
More recently.
The way I get older, and then after the war also, it was I needed somebody who will be stronger than me.
Yeah. So your sense of security,
the sense of security
is less now than before.
Much less, yes.
And yet you continue to conduct your business and have your interests.
I want to keep myself busy, because otherwise I think too much. And
what happens when you think?
I get depressed and worry and get nervous and upset. And
are you able to cry enough? Do you get any relief from the crying?
Yes.
Good friends to talk with here at all?
I have friends, but it's hard to talk to everybody, and not many people understand. And
yeah,
we all went through the same. Not many people want to listen. Somebody else. We all have.
Nobody escaped the pain.
Yeah.
But amongst your customers, though, I imagine there are people to share other interests with.
The American people not many knows that really what was it was.
What happens when you tell American people?
They don't understand. They don't know how that happened. And I don't blame them. They don't understand, because if somebody don't go through and that what we go through, it's hard to understand. It's such a thing can happen. When I was young, I don't understand myself either what can happen.
When you came to New York and you needed to be able to talk about what had happened, was there?
Yes, I find in New York one of my mother's sister who was very old. I don't know her before, but she looked very much like my mother, and I was so happy that somebody, but she was an old woman and she don't know.
How did you find her?
We know that she's alive. She came here before the war. She was a child when she came. She was married to a Russian Jewish husband, very nice man, and they helped us when we arrived to New York. I was in her house 2 months, and then they rent us an apartment, and we was on our own.
How old was your little boy then?
My little boy was 2.5 years old when we came. They adored him. He was gorgeous and spoiled him, and we lived there, and she was heartbroken. We left because my ex-husband's sisters lived there, and then they was asking us to come here to live. And it was very bad climate in New York. And
how did you make a living in New York? What was that like?
We started. He was working, and I was started to work home, and somehow we started, but here we had to start it all over again.
So 1952 brought you to New York?
1949 in January we arrived in New York.
Oh, in New York.
And then we've been there, we stayed there till 53. And then we came here.
Okay. And then what was starting here like?
Here was started very hard, much harder than New York. My marriage broke up, and he was afraid to find a job, and he went through in his life enough, and he was not independent and not free to shy and afraid to go find a job, and I had to work home, started to work home with a small child, and all together all caused the war, because all...
Yeah. Do you think you would have been better off staying in New York, or would it have still come apart?
Maybe will still come apart.
I guess we can make just so many changes in a lifetime.
Yes.
It's more than we can adapt to. We have a few more minutes, Bertha. Are there some stories or thoughts that you'd like to say, have on the tape?
I don't know what.
Anything more on the dreams, or? Okay, but you've had another chance, haven't you, at a marriage here? And
yes, and then I find a wonderful husband, and I am very happily married, and understand each other, and
so he's of help to you with your
yes, help. When I am worried or crying, he he helped me
comfort.
that I shouldn't worry, nothing I can help, and if I dream, he wake me up, bad dreams.
Okay. If you think of anything more, it's been quite an experience.
Yes.
So I appreciate you sharing
Thank
it with
you.
us, and we'll talk a little more afterwards. Okay.